Jamaica, baby, they made me to be the greatest. Serving the deed of my creators. Fresh off of my high haters. It's the king again. Magdalene, chauffeured, bragging and boasting.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Dollars. Welcome back to the channel. It's another day, another dollar video. This time we got Savages from the 6 Heartless-G. It just dropped yesterday, which was kind of funny because I did my first reaction to Heartless-G yesterday. Yesterday was the Toronto throwback reactions. If y'all ain't see that, tune into that. Yeah, and I think, what was it, Hood Life? I thought that joint was fire. It sounded like that old school New York type of shit. Straight gangster shit. So it was funny that the first time reacting to Heartless-G, Mind Soul 6 dropped the Savages from the 6 video featuring Heartless-G. All right, not that familiar with him. I think he's locked up right now. He might be blood if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, let's hop into this joint. I'm not gonna try to pause it too much because this is already a long video, so I'll just stop it to give y'all my opinions and how I usually do. You already know. Let's check this shit out.
My block is where the coke is at. Up top, where the dope is at. Manolas where the soldiers at. Vaughn Road and Oakwood 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 at. The other side in emergency. Some of them don't even make it that far. The newest paper make your man into a damn star. Fuck.
He was shot, and they also report seeing a male armed with a handgun running away from the scene. That suspect is described as between 15 and 18 years old, about 5'5" to 5'8", with a slim build.
He don't look 15 to 18 years old. He looked like a grown-ass man to me.
This is 29-year-old Shael Mills, better known as Heartless-G. He's a rapper hailing from the Vaughan and Oakwood area of Toronto and is a member of a gang called MOB Clique, which is a subset of Vaughn Road Bloods. Heartless-G was highly active in the music scene in the early 2010s, putting out hundreds of quality tracks. A few notable ones being Have a Nice Trip, Love the Blood, Mobster Music, Hood Life, Mr. Vaughn Road Swagula, and a hefty list of others. His buzz began in early June of 2010 when he made some serious noise with his debut mixtape, Re-Up and Push Volume 1, which put him on the rap radar within the city. To this day, he's dropped over 10 solid mixtapes and albums spread throughout the years, displaying discipline and work ethic.
He got a huge body of work.
Music.
That's crazy. I didn't expect him to have a body of work like that.
YouTube, along with thousands of mixtape downloads on DatPiff, it's clear that Heartless-G has talent and a sound that people wanted to hear.
The man was doing numbers.
He quickly became known
sort of like this
Toronto.
channel right here.
Thanks to far-reaching online platforms, he had people tuning in from not just the city, but from all around the world. With Heartless-G's rap skill along with his consistent output of music, you'd think that he'd be in a good spot in his life present day. But sadly, this isn't the case. If you watched any of my other videos, you know the recurring trend of talented Toronto rappers who can't seem to keep their hands clean. Unfortunately, Heartless-G falls into this category, with a familiar story that ends in another case of wasted potential. So today, on Savages from the 6, we'll take a look at Vaughn and Oakwood's Heartless-G.
This is OutSystems, the most complete full-stack application development platform for professional.
So we'll start by taking a look at the place which Heartless called home. He was raised in the Vaughan and Oakwood area, or VO for short, which is located in the York region of Toronto. In the past, this was once a safe and vibrant neighborhood, but has since seen an increase in crime over the last couple of decades, and it's become the home for a few different gangs. Statistics show that there's 11.8 crimes committed against every 1,000 people in the area, and VO has also seen a bunch of shootings over the years. Vaughan and Oakwood has even been the target of community campaigns to advocate for a safer neighborhood, but these attempts had little success. The crime is highly attributed to a local gang, Vaughn Road Bloods, who were previously named the VR Troopers.
I remember that.
This is a gang that was formed
I had me them toys too,
and is a splinter of an even earlier gang, Young Thugs, which came to be a few years prior to that. The Vaughn Road Bloods are a hostile, territorial gang who found themselves feuding with a bunch of other sets in the city, such as the Rexdale Crips, 5 Point Generals, Jungle City Goons, and their close-by foe, Eglinton West Crips, which is within walking distance of VO. The Bloods would eventually create a final subset, consisting of mostly the younger members of the gang, This new addition would be called MOB Click, and this is the group that Heartless-G would eventually become part of. With a bunch of different splinter gangs, all of them shared a similar trait, being committed to rep blood. Now VO is a bit different than most other hoods in Toronto, just in the fact that there's not really any big high-rises or complexes anywhere, like you see in other places. Instead, there's a bunch of smaller buildings spread throughout the area, some on main roads and others on residential streets. Nonetheless, the gangs within VO still seem to contain a high number of members, and they control a large region of their neighborhood. Growing up as a young man in an environment like VO, Heartless-G, along with many others, were unfortunately drawn into what you would call the hood life. There's not much I could find on file about his youth life other than a couple rumors, such as him being charged for stabbing an Eglinton West Crip member in 2008 around Roseland and Marley Avenue, and serving a youth sentence in a Hamilton jail. Another wild rumor being that he and his gang would actually light their rivals' trap houses on fire, and that firefighters would wear bulletproof vests because they would be shot at while putting out the flames. Honestly, this one is super far-fetched, but
I don't know about that one. That sounds a little bit overkill right there. Homie had on the overkill perk for this shit right here. You burning down the trap houses. That seems, yeah, I've heard about that before. That's happened, burning down your enemy's trap houses. But shooting at the firemen, nah, that's bullshit.
I still thought I'd mention it. From what I read, it's almost certain that Heartless-G spent some length of time behind bars in his juvenile years. Even though it's not concrete proof, this could give a hint that he was mixed up in gang politics from an early age. But street beefs won't be his only focus for long. At some point in his mid-teens, he decided to pursue a new hobby. Heartless began rapping in late 2000, early 2010s, originally under the name Ginger G, and quickly utilized the art form of music to create songs detailing his struggles in the streets, as well as talk about the dirty work he's done. He also used his music to promote MOB Click, as well as antagonize other gangs that his crew was beefing with. Heartless was respected and had street credibility. That, along with actually putting out catchy music, he soon caught fire.
The combination for a formula for success right there.
Who actually lives what they rap about. This is one of the factors why his music seemed to resonate with the underground rap scene in the city. People like to see a rapper they considered real and authentic. Overall, things were going great for Heartless. He saw success with his first mixtape and was receiving an amount of views on YouTube that at the time was unheard of from most underground Toronto rappers. But unfortunately, there was one small problem during the launch of his rap career. He was on the run for a murder. So now let's take a look back at the event that ended up changing the life of Heartless and also taking another.
So he was on the run doing music like Young Lava, right?
May 3rd, 2010, in the Winona Drive and Hursting Avenue area, fairly close to Vaughn and Oakwood Avenue. In the mid-afternoon, 17-year-old Mitchell Solis was walking alongside an older family friend down Winona Drive, which is a long street that stretches through the VO neighborhood and is considered territory of MOB Click and the Vaughn Road Bloods. Members populate some of the many buildings on the street and could easily spot a foe from one of the balconies. Mitchell was wearing a blue fitted cap and blue shoes, which seems harmless, but it could indicate a Crip affiliation to the wrong eye.
Yeah.
Witnesses.
That's the one thing, like, I don't be liking that color banging shit, bro. I'm wearing red right now, you know what I'm saying? I ain't blood. I just like the colors. You know, like, I'm gonna wear whatever color I want to wear. I'm not in the gang, though. But if you in the wrong neighborhood, you know, you might get pressed. People might approach you. They might think you on the opposite team. You know, it's unfortunate, man. Like, that blue Toronto hat and them blue Jays look fire too. Like, I want to wear that. I want to wear whatever color I want, man. You know what I'm saying? Just know I'm not affiliated with none of that shit. You know, but usually that's how it be, man.
Saw the pair walking when suddenly two men, both unmasked, approached from behind them. It said that the men walked with Mitchell and his friend for a second, and after a brief exchange of words, one of the suspects took out a handgun and started firing at close range. Mitchell began running down Winona Drive, but both suspects chased him down, while the one continued shooting. Mitchell's friend was not targeted by the gunman and watched the whole thing unveil, claiming the gunman fired about 5 times. After the short burst of shots, Mitchell ended up being struck once in his back, but the adrenaline kept him running. Eventually though, he ended up collapsing a few blocks away from where he was shot, and the suspects, as well as Mitchell's own.
My whole thing is, did you at least give the man a chance to explain himself? Like, was that really one of your enemies? or it was just a random person wearing blue. You know, that's the only thing, like, I would say, like, whatever, man. We understand the polys. Like, if it's beef, it's beef. You see your enemy, you do what you gotta do. But was they sure? Like, you know, like, do you know for a fact that that's a gang member from the opposite team? Like, give the man a chance to explain himself. Don't run up on any random person just because you see them wearing certain colors and have it in the mind state to do something to that person if you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Be 100% sure. You know, who knows, man? We don't know the situation, but I think that's just messed up. It's fucked up, bro. Really.
Own friend quickly fled, witnesses claiming each person ran in a separate direction. Mitchell was laying in the street wounded as passerbys and witnesses came to his aid and called for police and paramedics.
Damn,
when they arrived, Mitchell was still alive and quickly transported to the hospital. Sadly, a short time later he died.
I bet you they took
At the
their
beginning
sweet
of the
ass
police
time
investigation,
to
they
get
only
him.
had vague descriptions of the suspects, since Mitchell's friend left the scene. They also came to find that Mitchell, who went by the nickname Frost, was an alleged member of the Eglinton West Crips,
He
which is
was.
arguably the top rival of the Vaughn Road Bloods.
Damn.
2 days after the shooting, Mitchell's friend, who initially fled the scene, decided to contact police and provide an account of what happened.
Didn't he say that was an older family member? Now he's a friend. I'm pretty sure he said that.
He gave a statement, as well as a more detailed description of both suspects, most notably the shooter. The information that Mitchell's friend gave to police propelled the investigation, because within a week, they had a name of one of the suspected men involved in the murder. On May 8, 2010, police announced their first suspect to be Shael Mills, Heartless-G. A Canada-wide warrant was issued, and he was officially wanted for first-degree murder. But unsurprisingly, it didn't look like he was turning himself in anytime soon, and was declared to be on the run. While police searched for Heartless, they also continued looking for the second suspect as well, who was still unidentified at this point. But forensic testing found DNA on the scene that will be discussed again later, leading them right to their potential suspect. On May 19, 2010, 18-year-old LeVar Williams, an MOB clique member, was tracked down, arrested, and charged with first-degree murder. This was evidently one of Heartless's close friends and appears in a variety of his music videos. As for the investigation, there was some progress made since 1 or 2 suspects were arrested, but police still didn't have Heartless. At this point, the motive for Mitchell's killing seemed to be on the surface, an alleged gang member killed by an opposing gang on rival turf. It looks like Mitchell was just walking in the wrong area, wearing the wrong colors at the wrong time, and he ended up paying the price. With LeVar in custody, the hunt was now fully on for Heartless, and police searched the GTA as well as across the country over the next coming weeks. Around this time, in June of 2010, is when Heartless dropped his first project, Re-Up and Push Volume 1. So he was being actively pursued by law enforcement, but still found a means to put together a mixtape and make his official debut. He also dropped his Mobster Music freestyle on YouTube, as well as a few songs, showing that he wasn't going to let the authorities stop him from advancing his music career. But unfortunately for him, the police were starting to close in. After about 3 months of evading law enforcement, Heartless was eventually located, and he wasn't that far away.
Somebody
brought to August
somebody
13th,
told on him.
2010, to another Ontario city, just 100 miles from Toronto, London. It's not said how, but police were able to track Heartless to the city, and ended up capturing him without incident. He was taken.
That's the problem when you start getting famous and like you're a rapper and you on the run. Now everybody that you wouldn't expect knows your face. So it could be somebody told on him or somebody recognized him and called the cops or something. You know, that's the price of fame, unfortunately, man.
Taken back to Toronto to be charged with first-degree murder
Everybody knows
alongside
your
his
face.
accomplice, LeVar Williams. Now, with both men behind bars, a few years would go by as they waited to appear in court for their roles in the murder. In January of 2013, almost 3 years after being charged, the trial would begin. While preparing for the case, the police and courts made themselves very familiar with Heartless-G and his music. 76 of his music videos were downloaded from YouTube, 10 of which were chosen by the Crown to be used against him in court. Of those 10 songs, 6 of them were admitted by a judge. A few of the admissible songs were Cocaine Alumni, Hood Life, and You Don't Really Want It. Heartless-G and LeVar's trial had the most rap videos and lyrics ever admitted by a judge in the history of Canadian.
I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't think that, like, unless he's describing like the crime in detail, name, dates, and place, I don't think they should use music lyrics against rappers in trials, bro. Because a lot of it could be applied to anybody. It could be a random situation they talking about or made up, you know, but they will try to use your lyrics against you to paint you as the motherfucking villain. They're going to try to make you look like Thanos, right? They're going to try to make you look like Freddy Krueger, whatever. They're going to make you look like the worst possible human being to strengthen their case against you. But I don't feel like that's like good enough, you know, like unless like Bobby Shmurda, like he really like he took down the whole gang with that one song, Hot Nigga. He really was a hot nigga with that song, bro, because he got the whole gang indicted because he was really talking about real shit that was going on. So I don't know if any of these lyrics actually applied to what happened.
Canadian courts. His collection of content online was great for his music career, but it was detrimental to his case. And for the police, well, it was basically like shopping for evidence. Ultimately, it was argued that some lyrics in Heartless' songs not only proved his involvement in MLB Click and the Vaughn Road Bloods, but also painted a motive for the killing, Mitchell being a Crip rival standing on Blood territory. Amongst this, it was also said that Mitchell was targeted as an act of revenge for an MLB Click member named Bubba, who was allegedly killed by Crips a few weeks prior.
Homie should have known though, like you're in the wrong neighborhood.
He made appearances in a few of them, connecting him to Heartless.
Especially you lacking in the enemy territory.
But nonetheless, this evidence became the backbone of the case. Aside from eyewitness statements, along with his incriminating rap lyrics, there was more evidence brought forward during the trial as well, such as scores of text messages, jailhouse letters, pictures of graffiti and tattoos, and testimonies from gang and handwriting experts. One example being a text message that LeVar sent to Heartless shortly after the shooting, asking, "Yo fam, is my daughter still with you?" Police claim daughter is a slang term for a gun, and that Heartless has no children. As far as the co-accused, LeVar, a crucial piece of evidence used against him that initially identified him to police was a hat and a shirt that was found on the scene. Forensic testing found traces of his DNA on the items, as well as gun residue, indicating that he shot a gun or was close by.
He was probably like trying to switch his description. You know, he did the crime, he shot homie, and then he took off the shirt and the hat, but you left it somewhere where they could find it and use it against you. You're supposed to burn that evidence, bro. Anytime you do crimes, like serious crimes with clothes, you burn them. I shouldn't even be saying that, but it is what it is. Like, you burn them clothes. You don't let the fucking cops get the evidence, especially near the scene of the crime. Makes no sense, but I guess he was trying to evade a description. You know, if you're gonna do something, man, have a set of clothes that you're gonna switch out to automatically, and then, you know, have a bag where you could carry the other clothes and hide it somewhere until you could get it and then get rid of it.
By the one when it was fired, but evidence-wise, it didn't look like LeVar was the shooter, since the closest witness, Mitchell's friend, gave a description of the suspect that better matched Heartless. He claimed that the shooter had a distinctive neck tattoo, so the police had a digital artist meticulously Photoshop the same tattoo Heartless had onto the necks of 12 strangers in a lineup, and Mitchell's friend managed to single them out. This event happened when Mitchell's friend first contacted police, and not only helped him identify Heartless at the start of the investigation, but actually turned out to be a key piece of evidence used in the trial.
Another thing,
after a lengthy
why would
3
you do
months
something
court,
in front of a
the trial
witness?
would finally come to an end.
Like, why would you do a crime like that in front of a witness and leave the witness? I mean, God was on that guy's side. Thank God they didn't hurt him and kill him. But at the same time, if you're a criminal, you should know that if you're gonna do something, have a mask or hide your identity. Don't leave anything that anybody could point out and use against you in the court of law. So that was their one mistake right there. They left a witness, even though you know, God bless that dude. He was lucky that day. You know, we don't want no innocent people to get hurt, but I'm just speaking from the criminal point of view. Like, that's dumb.
End in late March of 2013. The verdict was a Superior Court jury finding Heartless-G guilty of first-degree murder, while his accomplice, LeVar, was found guilty of the lesser charge of second-degree murder. The evidence brought forward convinced the jury that Heartless was the shooter, but LeVar still paid a price for his role in the crime too. Both the convicted men received an automatic life sentence, the only difference being LeVar will be eligible for parole in 10 years, whereas it will be 25 years for Heartless. When the
Damn.
judge asked if he had anything else to say, it's reported that Heartless replied with a polite no thank you, maintaining a calm demeanor, having just been sentenced to 25 to life. The pair of men would then begin their potentially decades-long incarceration. Even years after the verdict, the case sparked up some controversy as to the admissibility of rap lyrics in criminal cases,
What I just
with
said.
many blogs and articles on this topic being created, with Heartless and LeVar being the poster children for the issue in Canada. Heartless-G is still locked up, but over the years, he's had people on his team release his pre-recorded music, and he even found a way to record audio while in prison, putting out albums as recent as this year, showcasing not only his portfolio of previous songs, but also his dedication to stay relevant in the current Toronto rap scene. It was reported that a lot of his content got pulled from streaming platforms after his conviction, but his music continues to be.
Add salt to the wounds. You're pulling off his music from streaming services that he could actually use to, you know, survive in jail. That's money. That's commissary. That could pay his family's bills. You know, like, that's just corny. Why would y'all do that? Like, the music is music. Let it be music. You know, freedom of speech. Does that mean anything anymore? Obviously not, because everybody always want to fucking micromanage every little thing about life, and that shit's annoying, man.
Re-uploaded. Nowadays, music by Heartless-G can be found on YouTube Music, Spotify, and Deezer. If he never ended up in prison, there's no telling how far he could have been in his career. Unfortunately, without actually being in the free world, there's only so much you can do to maintain a presence in the music industry.
Well, you could do some
With him
interviews.
being in jail, his music doesn't nearly receive the same amount of attention that it used to get years ago. And it's crazy how he's actually released more music in prison than he has as a free man. As like my other savages in the
He had a
Six
work
videos,
ethic, bro.
a lot of these guys' street life isn't publicly documented. From my research, Heartless-G seems to be well respected by his gang, and even to other gangs, and he must have gotten his hands dirty to get that respect. And friends and fans of his music are
He did a
still
lot of
tuning in,
GTA
and you
online
can find
missions.
recent comments all over the internet saying free up or asking when he will be getting out, so people won't be forgetting about Heartless-G anytime soon. And even behind bars, it still seems like Heartless is financially stable. He made a post on his Instagram account showing a picture of a chain, boasting he managed to spend $14K on it while in the pen. He even recently put out a book of short stories and poems, and even wrote a novel called Turmoil,
This
appearing
guy
to
was
stay productive while being
talented, bro.
incarcerated. In conclusion, this is another unfortunate story that ended up in the loss of life over gang politics, and also resulted in another rapper who had potential falling victim to the streets once again. As far as his gang MOB clique and the Vaughn Road Bloods, well, they continue to populate the VO area and maintain their beef with other sets like the Eglinton West Crips, with a new wave of rappers antagonizing rivals with music videos. And with that, the cycle sadly continues.
Not gonna lie, like, he reminds me a lot about like Tupac. The blood, the being the blood aspect, the fact that he has so much music that he was able to release, you know, after being locked up. Like, that's a work ethic, bro. That takes a lot of hard work, and you know, he was serious about his craft, bro. He wrote poems, he wrote books. You know, this guy was talented. It's just a waste of talent, and you got to do 25 years in jail. That sucks, man. That's a whole life. That's a whole lifetime. You know, you're never gonna get back, and it's crazy how he spent $14K on a chain while locked up. Damn. If he had any kids, he would have been good, man. You know, but he should do like an interview from jail. That'll keep him relevant still. But at this point, it's like, does it really matter? You know, he's in jail. Like, what more can you do? I mean, he could make books and he could try to steer the young kids out of that life. Try to be an example. Don't encourage kids to get involved with that type of life, man. You know, but this was an interesting story. We'll check out some more of his music if you guys want me to. Maybe I'll save that. I'll save it for throwback reactions. And yeah, man, y'all let me know what y'all think about Heartless-G in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, drop a like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's your boy Dollars. I'll holla.